Warning, spoiler warning. If you have not seen The Blackwell Ghost yet, the film that I reviewed last week, check that out before watching this video. Don't go into this video without watching that. If you have watched it, I've done some more research. I think you're going to enjoy what I dug up. But here's your warning. There are spoilers in this video, I believe, for The Blackwell Ghost. Hey everyone, John Lorden here. Welcome to another episode of Johnny Vlogs for today, Monday, October 9th, 2017. You know, I just got this little bug in my brain after doing that review on Itchy Mysteries last week about the Blackwell Ghost. I really wanted to know more about the video that is featured in that, and also potentially who made that video and or the Blackwell Ghost movie. Is it the same person possibly that produced both? Who is this person? Do they work in the industry? I had a lot of questions about it. So I want to dive into that on today's Johnny Vlog. So we'll feature what I consider one of the most popular ghost videos that is on YouTube. It's certainly up there. And I've also included a bunch of links in the description box below for other ghost videos for you to check out. But I want to ask you guys to send me links to ghost videos that you think are particularly compelling, because I want to feature more of those as we go through the spooky month of October. October! Is that how you're supposed to say it? Was that Mr. Ed? I don't know. Before we get started, as usual, I have a bunch of people to thank. I'm starting with PayPal donations, which I had 3 come in this past week. Thank you guys so much. Sophie Darling, thank you, Sophie. I truly appreciate it. I know I mentioned Landis Media Limited last week. Apparently that was just a test donation. They wanted to make sure it worked fine, and then they gave me a pretty large donation this week. So I have to call it out again. Landis Media Limited, thank you so much for helping to support me, to keep me here doing what I love doing, and for helping me support other causes. I truly, truly appreciate that. And finally, Lori McLean also supporting and helping via PayPal. If you want to use PayPal instead of Patreon, you can always send it to John, John, at lordenarts.com through PayPal. That will get to me. On top of that, of course, we have Patreon supporters. Brandon Yoder edited his pledge, upped it. Thank you so much, Brandon. Alexandria Delicat pledged. Thank you, Alexandria. Welcome to supporting the channel. It's a great group of people that's in there. Matt Bishop edited his pledge, upped it. Thank you so much, Matt. Really appreciate that. Nicole Miner also just pledged. Hi, Nicole. Thank you for your support. And finally, Emily Wasley. Hope I'm saying that right. Also pledged on Patreon. And just in case you guys don't know, we do a monthly raffle over on Patreon where I give out a couple of $25 gift cards to the Lorden Arts store, just as a small token of my appreciation to give back to that community of very close supporters. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you on the raffle video. Okay, let's get back to the topic at hand. So there was a video posted September 4th of 2012 at a YouTube channel called JimmyNut22. Kind of an interesting name for a YouTube channel. JimmyNut22 bills itself as the Ghost Encounters channel. And if you look at its videos, you're going to see a somewhat slim selection. As a matter of fact, several of these videos are just edits of this same video that we're going to talk about today, what I consider the hotel haunting video. Even this one that says there's an alien caught on video, one of these, there's more than one. When I watched it, it featured a large portion of the same scary ghost in the hotel video. Now, on top of all that, of course, we can also notice they have a clip from the Blackwell Ghost film, and they actually host the official YouTube place for being able to rent the Blackwell Ghost film. Now, I find that a bit curious because this haunted hotel video is featured in the Blackwell Ghost film. The filmmaker in that film calls the John character or person that is in the hotel, the guy that's working security, checking out what's going on in this room. And I was wondering while I was watching that film, Did they license that footage? Who would they have contacted to license that footage? And in the limited credits that there are at the end, there is a thank you to Jimmy Nut 22. So I thought that they might have gotten permission from Jimmy Nut 22 to actually post that. But is there something else going on here? We're going to look into it. But before we crack into that, let's check out some of this video together. So you've got a security guard responding to screams in the hotel. He is communicating with the people he's working with. Audio isn't great on this, so I'm going to try to narrate it a little bit. They're supposedly hearing screams from this room. Now, let me just stop it for a second. For a film that at the start of this, it says it's unedited, I can tell you that especially in those last few moments there, if nothing else, I'm hearing music. So for some reason, creepy music has been added to this unedited security footage. We see him going in. Now, it's kind of hard to see there. We'll replay it. Let me just replay it for you right now, actually. But there is actually a form that is walking out of the door. I'll try to trace it with my mouse. Right here. Very light form that looks to be walking out of the door. Then we get the light flicker twice. And John comes back out, and supposedly the person in the control center is told that all the furniture is upside down and the carpet is ripped up and shredded in the room. Let me see. There is another time where they replay the form leaving the room. I just want to see if they might have sweetened the video on it a little bit. Yeah, in case you missed it. Here we go. More creepy music. There it is. Yeah, they really didn't sweeten it too much, but a very light kind of white mist that it looks like is walking out of the room. So, I have to tell you guys, I originally saw this, I think, right around the time that I started doing Brain Scratch on the channel, or maybe even a little before that. And I've watched a lot of different ghost videos. This one compelled me because it was so simple. It wasn't heavy-handed. I didn't even notice the scary music in it back then when I watched it. But one of the things that I was bothered with when I initially watched it was this camera angle. I used to work in businesses that had security equipment, and this camera angle, it's not great. It looks to me that this is a camera that was set up specifically to try to capture that door. And why are you going to have a camera? I mean, look at this angle. All you can see is that door, and you have a view of two other doors down the hall, but it's really a terrible view. You're not getting a good shot all the way down the hall, which is typically what you would see for a security camera placement on something like this. There was something about this view that bothered me initially. That led me at the time to think it was probably likely hoaxed, but if it was done in such a subtle way that I really kind of appreciated how it was done. You know, it's not over the top. I don't think it's CGI. I was also curious about the light flickering. How do you get that to happen? Maybe if you work there, but there's several lights on this wall. I assume that they're all probably wired to the same circuit. How do you get only one light in particular to flicker? Now, yes, there is technology nowadays. You can buy they sell like little sockets or things that fit into the light socket where you can control them by remote control to turn them on or off. Or sometimes they have a little light sensor on them so that they only turn on at night and things like that. So perhaps you could have put some type of technology device between the light bulb and the socket that could have given you the ability to control it on or off. I think it might even be simpler than that. I think that's part of what I find that's really good about the person that made this video. But let's roll forward. I found an article posted at Facebook by a person named I Am Kenny Bindle. Hope I'm saying that right. And he basically is doing a full analysis of this video from top to bottom. And he brings up several good points. I don't want to go through all of them, but I'll have a link to this post in the description box below. If you are interested in that video and seeing some information that might be debunking it, I highly recommend that you come to this post. But outside of that, he found something very interesting. He subscribed to the profile of that YouTube creator, the Jimmy Nut 22 profile, but then he went looking for comments that Jimmy Nut 22 has left. And Jimmy Nut 22 actually left a comment on a movie review for a film called State of Emergency from 2013. And we can see Jimmy Nut 22's comment here. Hey, my name is Turner Clay, and I made the movie State of Emergency. Just came across your review and wanted to say thanks for watching our little film. I would take 6 out of 10 any day. Thanks again. Now, what's interesting about this film is it's apparently a zombie movie. And if you did watch the Blackwell Ghost film that I reviewed last week, you might remember at the start of the film that this filmmaker, the only thing he had done was what he called bad zombie movies. So this is certainly lining up with the possibility that this Turner Clay person could be the guy that is featured in the Blackwell Ghost. Well, how do we prove that? I think the only thing we can do at that point is look for a picture of Turner Clay, and bingo, here we go. This is the guy. He was the same guy, I believe. If not, he bears a striking resemblance to the guy that is in the Blackwell Ghost movie. That is basically the star of that movie, the guy that's looking for these ghosts. Was not easy to find this picture. As you can see, you had to dig down quite a bit, and there are no other pictures of this guy. But once you find that information that this is indeed Turner Clay, you can find his IMDB profile, and it does look like he has made a few different zombie movies, which once again ties together with the story that we heard in the Blackwell Ghost film. So I believe Turner Clay is the right guy. Here we see his picture. This is on a website that is some kind of service where you can see other movies, and they have Turner Clay listed on here, but for some reason his movies are not available. Maybe they were available on this service at one time, but we can see this is his picture. It's saying he's a director. This is the guy from the Blackwell Ghost, no doubt. So what does this have to do with the video at the start of all this? Well, I went looking at this video again, and I noticed something right at the start. First of all, that whole dialogue where you have a man and a woman talking to each other, I ask you to check out this video and listen to that dialogue. I believe that the woman's voice is actually a man that is doing a woman's voice. I think he's talking like in a Jim Henson Muppet type voice to create that woman's voice. I don't think it's really a woman's voice, but that you could kind of debate here or there. It's not really a solid thing. But here is about the best shot that we get of John. Maybe he gets a little closer. Let's see here. Yeah, he kind of passes and his face is obscured a little bit. But does this guy look familiar to you? Kind of a beard, mustache, wearing a ball cap. Is it just me, or do you guys think that it could be him? Obviously, he doesn't have a beard here. The ball cap, Is it the same ball cap? I've looked at this footage a bunch of times, and I don't know if it's the exact same one. It is very similar. There does seem to be some type of centered square decal on the top. But something else that actually really kind of grabbed my mind about this theory that I was having, that maybe this is actually Turner Clay actually featured in his own video, is look at this lanyard that he's wearing here. And we've got, these white blocks. I don't know what this is for. I don't know if those are matching this event that he's at that is obviously sponsored by Ford in some way, but he's got this lanyard. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably about 7 white blocks before it hits the center where it joins together. And if we look back on the video, what's he wearing around his neck here? He's got a lanyard with white blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 of them before they match up where the two pieces come together. Is it just me, or do you guys think that Turner Clay is actually in this video? I'd even go one farther. I think Turner shot this video himself. He probably took, I would say he did this probably with 2 tripods and 2 GoPros. And I only say 2 because there's one spot in particular where it looks like he's using 2 different camera angles to capture the same action. Theoretically, he could have retraced his steps and done it with 1 camera, but the matching looks too good to me. So I think he might have had 2 cameras. I think that's him doing all the voiceover of both the voices. If you watch this video, you'll see that they seem to be getting information back to the control booth, but this guy, every now and then his hand kind of goes up to his mouth, but it doesn't look like he's really relaying any information, and there's no audio coming from his side of it. I think this is a very creative dude that did this probably on his own, made this particular ghost video. In terms of the effects that are in it, the light flickering on and off could be accomplished fairly easily, like I mentioned, with technology, or if he would have just gotten some footage, left the camera in place, but went and unscrewed that one light bulb and then got out of the picture, got a couple seconds of that footage, and then came back and screwed it back in. Basically, that would give him a clip that he could edit into the other video to make it look like the light was flickering. He's essentially just pasting in clips of the light being off for a few moments in the original video. Outside of that, the effect of the actual ghost that is walking out the door, one of the simplest things that you can do in Adobe Premiere Pro, even simpler than green screen, which is extremely simple, but even simpler than that is changing the opacity. Basically, you can take 2 different images, lay them on top of each other, and tell one of those images only show about 10% through. It's literally a percentage slider. If it's 100%, that image is going to it's going to basically cover the image that's behind it. But if you take it down to something really low, I'd say probably 3 to 5%, somewhere in there, it's fairly easy to get that ghosted image. I believe what Turner Clay did there was literally went into the room that he had probably rented for the night. I'm assuming that he was actually staying in that room because he had a key to open that door. Probably threw a bed sheet over himself and just walked out the door and down the hall to get the footage he needed. Then in editing, he takes that shot. He takes the shot of him as a security guard walking in. He lays them on top of each other, and he tells the shot with the sheet ghost to go down to only 10% opacity. Or less, probably 5, somewhere around there. I'm pretty sure that's how he did it. And I'm pretty sure that's the same way he did the effects in the Blackwell Ghost. And if you look at the similarities between this video and the video or the movie The Blackwell Ghost, I think it's pretty hard to say that they're not related. You've got the same type of things being haunted. You've got a light flickering off in this video, but it's flickering on in the Blackwell Ghost. You've got a form that is walking into the picture and out of frame in both of these things that basically looks like the same effect being used in both places. Outside of all that, I still think it's really fun. I really appreciate this guy for being able to do that. I think it's kind of fun that he has this mystery about who he is, and he's kind of hiding himself a little bit from having credit for producing these things. But ultimately, the main reason why I wanted to track this guy down was I wanted to tell him what a good job I thought he did on the Blackwell Ghost. I really just appreciated the heck out of it. I'm fairly convinced, especially now, that it is faked, but I still appreciate it just as much. I think it's a very fun film. So that's my analysis of what I consider one of the better and more famous YouTube videos. This one was viewed, I think, over 10 million times just on this one particular link. And who is behind it. At least that's my opinion of who is behind it. I did look for some more references to the name Turner Clay, and I did find one customer review out of the 129 that are written for another kind of found footage documentary called The Phoenix Tapes 97. And this reviewer in there says specifically, I thoroughly enjoyed Turner Clay's The Blackwell Ghost. So it seems like at least a few people, I've literally only found 2 places on the internet that mention it, but a few people seem to know that Turner Clay is the person behind the Blackwell Ghost. Or to be more precise, one person knows that Turner Clay is behind the Blackwell Ghost. One person knows that Turner Clay is behind the creepy ghost footage from the hotel. However, of course, when we look at that Jimmy Nut 22 channel, we see that you can rent the Blackwell Ghost there. So I think we can assume that it's the same guy that's creating all of it. And I think we can assume that guy's name is Turner Clay. And personally, I hope this dude gets a break and is able to do some bigger film stuff, because I think from what I'm seeing here, he's pretty talented. He's done a lot with a little, and I dig it. So that's where I'm at. Hope you enjoyed this kind of spooky-ish episode of Johnny Vlogs. You know, it's the season. We're going to try to have some more Halloween themed content throughout the rest of the month. I hope you guys will enjoy that as well as I hope that you enjoyed this. But you might have not. If you did, let me know with that like button. If you didn't, let me know with that thumbs down button. Either way, I hope you're having a great day. Look forward to seeing you back here on the channel tomorrow. Take care.